everyone, and welcome to an update on the Engagement Institute's advocacy efforts. It's the first spring. I hope wherever you are, it's a lovely day. So it's been a busy time for us post the federal election here in Australia. We had a little bit of a hiatus, but it was a real pleasure to be invited to speak to the Victorian Legislative Council inquiry into community consultation practices. So we're honoured to be invited to appear in the opening spot for an hour. Joining me was fellow Amy Hubbard and the Victorian member of our advocacy committee, Donna Groves. And we were very well prepared by our government relations advisor, Louise Crossman, who watched the proceedings online. So she gave us, that was great. So the hour went really, really quickly, and the committee is looking into 6 areas. So these are community consultation practices done by and on behalf of state and local government and statutory authorities and providers of essential services such as utilities in Victoria. The use of non-government providers to do consultations on behalf of government agencies. Standards of conduct, including preparedness to be expected in community consultations. Groups or regions who are underrepresented by existing consultation practices and options to improve their engagement. The Engage Victoria platform, its use and effectiveness and areas for improvement, and best practice community consultation in other jurisdictions in Australia and other comparable countries. So they have a really broad remit, and the hour went really, really quickly. We also invited or offered to the committee to have us back at the end of their inquiry period, which is early September. For any questions that they have that may have come up during the process. Of course, we're sharing with them our showcases of our case studies from past Core Values Award winners and finalists because these demonstrate engagement excellence. So you can read more about the inquiry on their website, but you can also have a look at those showcases of Core Values Award winners if you're looking for good case studies that demonstrate the value and benefit of quality engagement. There's also been a quick trip to Canberra where we're really continuing to focus on elevating engagement and build those relationships with key ministries and their office. It was a busy sitting week because it was their second sitting for the new government. We've been really talking to our 5 policy calls to action. And these are, and you would have heard this from me quite a bit recently, is to embed engagement professionals as technical experts on advisory groups. If you are an engagement professional that has been embedded as a technical expert onto an advisory group, please just send me a quick note to let me know about it because we would love to showcase the work that you're doing and the change that you're making. Our second policy call to action is a clear and consistent definition of engagement. And at the Engagement Institute, we have a very clear definition of engagement, and it's available on our website. We want to see minimum standards for engagement set and maintained, and we will have more announcements around this in the coming weeks, actually, so watch this space. We want to elevate engagement to the strategic level. And we want to link the requirement for engagement to funding. And the funding lines we're talking about there are the government funding lines in sort of key areas. So we have the National Partnership Agreement for major infrastructure projects. We have the Capacity Investment Scheme for renewables projects. And there's other federal government funding available in the housing sector, for example. So, you know, there's an obvious link there for the federal government to link the requirement for engagement to their funding lines. So you can read more about those policy calls to action on the website, and they underpin a lot of our advocacy efforts. There's been a number of submissions in this last couple of months, and again, you can have a look at them on our website. These included the Local Government Charter of Engagement from South Australia, the Hydrogen Head Start program, Department of Planning, Infrastructure and Housing in New South Wales. Now, this one was actually a really interesting one because their consultation was around reducing engagement timeframes. And so this may be a recurring theme coming up in each of your jurisdictions. So I'd love to hear from you if you're concerned about this or you see that, one of your state agencies is consulting on engagement timeframes, as we would love to pop in a submission. And then over in Western Australia, there was the Community Benefits Scheme draft guideline. So you can have a look at all of those on our website. Just linking back to one of our policy calls to action where we want to see engagement elevated to the strategic level, we were delighted to release the latest in our thought leadership series in the last couple of weeks, which is Strategic Engagement, Democracy's Urgent Task. That has been again authored by Sally Hussey. And the report is quite different from our past reports, actually, but it does outline the 5 critical challenges identified through the research that significantly influence the effectiveness of strategic engagement in building trust in democratic processes. And these are the definition of strategic engagement and risks in politically driven outcomes, poor practice and performative engagement in government consultations, the expertise gap, political blowback and fear of feedback, engagement specialisation and fragmentation, and engaging in an area of misinformation and disinformation. So that report is a free downloadable on our website, and there should also be a link to the recording of a recent webinar that we had just last week with Sally, together with participants we interviewed as part of the research, and I joined them as well. So it was fun for me, first one that I've joined the panel on. And of course, we're looking forward to seeing you at the conference, our annual conference. The program is looking fantastic. There is all that you would expect from the Engagement Institute there. We've got great panels on energy and housing and excellent conversations about the challenges that engagement practitioners are facing at the moment, together with, of course, all of the practical tips and takeaways that you'll be looking for. Registrations are really strong, so we're delighted to have that coming through. And the date's 7th to the 29th of October at the Grand Hyatt in Melbourne. So I hope that we see you there.